Good morning. Well, with a little luck, we're going to tidy this project up in the next short bit. We're now moving into bodywork, and I'm not a particular fan of bodywork. I'm not particularly good at bodywork. As you've seen in my other videos, you can make stuff really good, but it's hard work for me. It's not something I enjoy. So it means a lot of patience and a lot of time and doing it right the first time. It also means a good understanding of colors and body lines. So the first thing is get your stuff together. This is what I'm going to be using today, plus a whole bunch more sandpaper and probably my palm sander. Get it clean. I've just finished wiping this thing down again. The whole idea being if you keep it clean, it works better. Prep is killer. You got to keep it clean. You got to let the filler set up properly. You got to work the metal and the paint. You got to get it smooth. It doesn't matter what kind of paint you're shooting, whether it's out of a rattle can like I'll be doing, or high dollar paints. If you don't get the prep right, it's going to be a problem. So again, I strongly suggest taking a look at Lakeside Autobody. I'll put the link in the comments below. Guy knows what he's doing, does nice work. There's also a ton of other videos out there. So our goals today are to touch up paint some areas, plus get some contrasting color on it so it's easy to see in the snow up here, and make it look presentable. I'm not looking at show awards. I want it solid, I want it presentable, I want it to be not embarrassing. And those are the goals. So we're going to dive into it, and we'll cut in and out as we go so you can see what we're up to. So, till we're ready to shoot, take care. Okay, an update from Real Builds on body and paint. What should have been an easy task has turned into a bit of a nightmare. We're trying to figure out why in certain patches the paint is reacting. And it's kind of weird because we know the car was painted with enamel. We cleaned it off with alcohol to make sure it was good and clean after washing it. We've scuffed it a little, very lightly, just to bring some color back on the white, and then tack ragged it and washed it down again. But we're getting a weird reaction, and I ran out and got some high build primer sealer, and it's even reacting. So we're going to leave it be for a couple hours, let everything get good and dry, and then back up and take another run at this. And it's weird because it's really patchy. It's almost like something's leaching through the old paint, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And it's erratic. So for instance, this morning, testing colors, we painted pieces of the lower section of the rear bumper. No problem. No issues. Wasn't a big deal. And then on this side, we've had very little problem. So something's funky, and we're going to take a break, let everything dry, let my temper cool, and come back and readdress it. But I really would like to know what's going on. Normally you only get this kind of thing if you don't wash the vehicle and make sure you de-waxed it and do all the other stuff. But we've done all that and we're still getting the problem. So I'm a little confused. And I'm getting a little annoyed, so that is the perfect time to take a break and try and think this through. Overall, the actual repairs have come out pretty good once the primer was on them. The rest of the body's in pretty good shape. Everything else is done. So what I expected would be an easy few hours today has turned into a bit of a nightmare. And we're going to keep hacking at it till we get it, because I need to have this car up, and we're at that point. point now. Um, So we'll have to back up and give it some other thought. So till we come back, you guys have a lot of fun. We'll talk to you real soon. So earlier today we were talking about paint contamination problems, and we sanded the whole car with 200, 400, then 600 grit, kind of a color sand, remove every form of contamination, wiped it all down with denatured alcohol, went over it again, tack ragged it again, back and forth, and we're still having problems, and this is really strange. I've used this same technique, same system a series of times. You usually wind up with a really nice deep finish, and this time it's fighting me every inch of the way. So I've had just about enough for one night, so I'm going to throw in the towel. But we'll be back tomorrow fighting the battle with real builds, trying to figure out what's going on here. You know, we'd already de-waxed it, we'd wiped it down with solvent, we'd gone over it with alcohol, we'd given it a scuff, the tack rag, all the stuff we normally do. And it's always worked with this particular brand of paint. It's always worked really, really well. And this time it's just confusing me to death. So before we get angry, we're going to call it a night and leave it to dry and see what we can figure out in the morning. We'll talk to you again with another update, Real Build.